You are listening to Bliss of the Abyss. Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to the Bliss of the Abyss. I'm your host, Robert Neumark Jones, Ruskin, Denmark. You're listening to the podcast. Welcome if you're new here. Welcome if you come back. Welcome. Today's episode is with Tanya Rich, the fantastic, talented, brilliant, hilarious, funny, too many compliments, Tanya Rich. To those of you who don't know, Tanya is, of course, an original punk, manager of many punk bands, most notably Discharge, through which she became then a session singer and then a VO. In fact, she's one of the most famous VOs in the world. She was one of only 4 full-time FVOs in 1987. She's a legend on the circuit. She records every day and coaches under the Richcraft moniker. So any of you who are thinking of getting into VO, Tanya's your woman. Of course, on today's episode, we barely get into any of that. But that's a little bit of background. Instead, Tanya is what I would call a natural bants machine. And that's only with a touch of irony. So if you're just after a fun, silly conversation, you've come to the right place. So without any further ado, I present to you Tanya Rich.
I better turn it down a bit because I've got a very loud laugh and I've got a feeling we are going to laugh.
Yeah, that might happen.
That might happen. So, well, I have no idea what I'm doing with this. So just this is when I'm very good at busking stuff. So fire away, boy, fire away.
Well, I mean, yeah. Let's just start. Like I said, like, it's not going out live. Anything that we talk about that you sort of like wish you hadn't is just going to be cut. So
okay. And the purpose of this podcast is
oh, fun. Is that so illegal?
No, my God, that's what I need. I need more fun.
Well, I'll give you like a proper intro,
okay.
Ahead of
Make sure you say Tanya.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. I won't say Tanya.
No,
God,
make people
heaven forfend. No, I will give you a proper intro and everything else, regardless, separate to all of this, just to enable the free flow. But I will also say, Tanya Rich, welcome to the Bliss of the Abyss. It's such a pleasure to have you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine and very welcome. Sorry, that sounded rubbish. I'm fine.
Let's try again.
Yeah, so can we start that again, please? I wasn't quite prepared for you suddenly going into it.
Don't worry, mine was terrible as well. We can...
Take 2.
No, how are you, Tanya? It's I haven't spoken to you in a little while, so I'm interested to hear how you are doing.
Well, the abyss is not something that I'm unfamiliar with.
Is that so?
So I was delighted to actually join you in your abyss. And yeah, how am I doing? Well, you know me, work.
Yeah, is that
Tanya,
so?
Retired girl.
No time for rest. I saw a meme that I thought that you would get a kick out of, because I know you have a wicked sense of humor as part of the reason that I thought this would be so much fun to have a conversation with you. And I'm going to share this meme with you and explain it for people who only listen to the show. It's called The Life of an Artist.
Right.
So we have birth, then a burned out disappointment, and finally an old weirdo with a home studio. I think I'm seamlessly transitioning into the final phase.
I resent the word old. Apart from that, yeah, that meme, spot on.
I tell you what, let's get rid of old. I don't think we're going to get rid of weirdo.
I don't know. It depends what your definition of weird is. I mean, I've met some incredibly weird people, and if I think they're weird, they must be really weird.
But there's definitely home studio. Now you're building a new one, aren't you? Now,
yes.
What is going on here, Tanya? Because honestly, don't you already have a home studio? Why are you building a million?
Well, first of all, I don't want to use the word home studio. And
okay.
Why. I shall tell you for why. Because home studio when I first had my first home studio in 1991, that was quite a thing to have. It was a thing that very few voice artists had, and we had to have it because of an invention called ISDN. And then I had a second home studio, and then I moved out into a purpose-built building at the bottom of my garden, like a rather big purple fairy. And basically, that was just for me. And the reason I don't like the word home is that when COVID happened in the lockdown, every actor and his dog thought, oh my God, I better get a blue Yeti and a blanket and be a voice actor with a home studio. And that's why I don't like the word home studio, because there are different levels of professionalism in that studio and broadcast qualities and mics. So as you know, I have a really good kit and a good sound. And so this was built just for me. But when I started teaching more and more and more, as well as voicing, and I realised I could not do everything myself, even me, who wants to conquer the world, I had to get an assistant. And that was the lovely Alicia. And when Alicia came to work with me, if a phone call came in, I could hear her talking. And then when she started coaching, if she was coaching, I couldn't voice, because this booth was not meant for anyone being next door. And so that's one reason we're building a new one. The other reason we're doing it is we really love teaching people face to face where possible. Obviously, COVID changed that too. And I've always had to be careful because I'm a sickly child. But the studio that we're building now is going to have a small office, which is just mine. Nobody can share it, which means that if it is a mess, it is actually my fault. And I cannot blame Alicia for anything. And I'm also going to have a beautiful purpose-built Studio Bricks in there. I have a Studio Bricks booth inside a completely soundproofed office and an office. And then next door will be this one, which we are making a much nicer looking office. We're putting a green screen in so we can do some nice videos. And we're using the existing booth, which is going to have brand new foam tiles. I've just bought those. And so it'll have exactly the same configuration and wonderful sound. It'll have a different microphone in it. And that will be for students. And that means that we will be able to have people here and they can work in this studio. And I will be next door.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah. Quite the operation.
It is. And my husband's doing everything for me. Like, he's building everything. He had to, really. We had a deal.
You're not good with a hammer and nail?
Me, I'm not allowed near anything sharp or with electrical current or anything. I will probably take my eye out, fingers off. I'm useless, but he's very good at all that stuff.
Now, you've used a bit of industry lingo in there for people who are unaware. And actually, you know what? I'd like to pick your brains about this. A Studio Bricks is a sound isolation booth. So it's for voice actors. It's a sort of ready-built place where you can record. Now, there's some controversy in the industry around these because they are, to some people's ears, boxy. What is your take on that?
Well, I'm hoping that it won't be boxy. It's my take, because I have the most wonderful sound in here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hoping it won't be boxy. And I'm wondering, is it boxy maybe because people have a Studio Bricks, but they have perhaps a microphone that isn't particularly good?
Oh shit!
Maybe, well,
back to the Blue Yeti.
I think the other. Studio Bricks, you might be able to afford more than a Blue Yeti. But I mean, the thing is, I do have a Sennheiser shotgun 416 mic, which if I should encounter any problems using the Neumann I use, which is a TLM 193, by the way.
Heard of it.
Just if anyone's interested. I will have to swap the mics over. But I'm hoping it's not boxy, because I shall be a very, very upset woman, because I have waited over a year for this, because we had to get, even though the space is only the size of a large garden shed, we have a horrible neighbour and she will object to everything. So we had to get planning permission. Even the planning officer looked at us like, are you serious? You've really got me out into your garden for this space? Yes, we have. Because we knew she'd kick off next door, which she did, and now she can't do anything.
Oh, very interesting.
So that's why it's taken so bloody long. And the fact that my husband refuses to have a labourer in to help him.
Well, it's both a positive and a negative, I suppose. Yes. It reminds me of, did you ever hear the story about the person who had a castle built on his grounds and he didn't get planning permission?
No, but I'd
This
love a
is
castle.
well, yeah, but careful what you wish for, because he built the castle without consulting his neighbors for planning permission, and then he realized that his neighbors weren't keen on it, so he tried to hide it. Literally put up bales of hay around his castle, but the council still found out about it and made him tear it down.
No.
Well,
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
such a
I sort of
shame.
feel the same as well, but at the same time, he shouldn't have built the fucking thing, right?
He
I mean,
shouldn't really, no.
yeah,
He shouldn't.
but once it's built, it seems like a waste to tear it down, doesn't it?
I agree. And sometimes I think it's petty. It's like when people cut down trees without permission. What are you going to do? Stick them back together with super glue? Where we live, we have a lot of squirrels, and the little swine love to take the little hazelnuts and bury them, and then they forget where they bury them. So everywhere we are surrounded by these beech nut trees or whatever they are, and that's fine. But then they grow, and then we get a lot of ash, and of course ash have got dieback. So you've got these towering trees leaving spores everywhere in your garden, and then some idiot from the council came around and slapped tree preservation orders on dying trees. So in order to remove one that was about to fall onto my husband's cabin, because he has a very beautiful cabin at the bottom of our garden, not his garden, our garden.
Yes.
So yes, we're like cabin central here because we live in a
Yeah.
tiny house. We can't go anywhere else but in the garden.
Right.
And when it was stormy, it was banging on the roof, and we had to get permission to get it cut down, even though it was a scabby old tree that no one cared about, which made me cross. I mean, we wanted to erect a topiary looking towards our horrible neighbour and have it made into the shape of a middle finger. And I don't know if that would have needed planning permission or not, but my goodness, it'd have been worth the wait until they sorted it out.
Yeah, exactly. Put it up anyway.
Yeah. She's so horrible. Can I just tell you, she's so horrible. She
Really?
scuttles in her garden and listens in gaps in the hedges.
What?
Yes, and she put up a spite hedge. So she put up a beech hedge. And if anybody knows anything about gardening, beech hedges are mostly brown, scabby old leaves, and then in the summer they're green for about a month and a half. And she also put up loads of bamboo, which goes everywhere. And
it's the fastest growing plant in the world.
And it's terrible. And the rhizomes, or whatever they're called, you have to spray it with white vinegar to kill it. I mean, it's really bad. But she did that, so she scuttles in the hedge. And when we hear her scuttling, if we're in the garden having a family meal or whatever, we deliberately start talking about really outrageous things.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
To get her prurient nature offended.
Yeah.
Such as what? What gets her going?
Oh, anything to do with Satanism. We often will we've often played music, just like some like Verdi Requiem or something, really loudly, and then turned it off and said, "Did they manage to get the goat?" and things like that. Or we talk very lewdly about about sex, or anything.
Goodness
really
me.
that will just offend her.
Wow. It would be. I'm sort of in the opposite problem. It would be nice to have a neighbor I could offend. I have. They won't blink at anything, but their dog doesn't stop barking, which makes voicing quite tricky.
Oh God, I remember this.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
And
you poor
here's the
man,
thing:
yes.
their solution to a barking dog is to go, "Freddie, shut up!" I intuitively thought maybe that's not a good solution. And yeah, it proves not to have been. But then I've Googled it, and it turns out that if you shout at a dog, they actually think that you're barking, so they bark more.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, but is there not a stealth whistle or something you could blow that would make the dog...
Ooh, I love this. Hold on. Mind control.
Yeah, there must be something you could do.
This is genius.
You could train that dog
Stealth
to do
dog
things. Yeah,
whistle.
so you could train it to like do things. So if it hears a certain whistle, you could like stealth train it.
Hold on.
There
Have you
must
ever
be a
seen the
device.
Manchurian Candidate?
I have, but not for many years.
Okay, so to remind you, the Manchurian Candidate is a brainwashed person from this who secretly works for the CIA but doesn't realize it until
Right.
they instigate a protocol, which then kicks in
that
his
thing,
training.
Yes, I love all that.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I could turn the next door neighbor's stupid little dachshund into a Manchurian Candidate.
Yes.
I don't know what they can do though. What are they? Oh, wait, they must be a hound. Let's
Dachshund?
logically. Yeah, what's dash in? Do you speak German?
Well, I know they're German. I always think they look like sausages. Don't they? Like sausage dogs.
They're
Well,
called
they're
a sausage dog,
yappy.
but what they must be bred for something. All dogs have been bred for one purpose or other.
Or maybe they were. I think they were bred for those for doorstops. Well, to keep the drafts out from under your door.
Excluder?
Draft excluder. Yes.
Oh, okay. Dash comes from German for badger. So that's why they're that shape. They were going into
down the holes
Yeah.
and getting back out, unlike terriers who are silly.
Very silly. Yeah, that's right. I love most dogs. It's a shame that I hate Freddie.
You know this Dachshund. I mean, what about if you make a relationship with it? I mean, when I say relationship, obviously, could you not offer to take him out for a little walk? Say, he's obviously bothering you a lot, and obviously I can hear this. Can I take him for a walk for you? I mean, and don't do it in a sinister kind of Dexter way.
Yeah, right, because I was about to do it. The thing is the problem is, okay, so let's go. Let's give me a go at doing this. Hi.
Hello.
Shit, I've already failed. Okay, cut. Let's try again.
I see. Was I being the dog? No. What was I meant to be doing? Wrong?
No, I think you're the neighbour.
I was being the neighbour, and then you.
To be fair, I didn't really prep you. All I said was hi.
You don't need to prep me, darling. I'm an actor.
Okay, look. Here's a little bit of bonus. Here are your notes. You live next door to me. You think I'm kind of cool, but maybe strange. But
I do, yeah.
Your dog barks at me, and I occasionally ask you for neighborly advice. And I gave you a present when your child had a daughter. How about that? Is that enough prep? Do you need?
So are they quite elderly, these people then?
Yes.
How old?
Well, let's be generous. Mid 50s.
Okay, so they're not infirm.
Not infirm.
Okay, I just need to know that in case, because that would have been an added string to your bow, see, on the kindness
They are
factor.
perhaps one injury away from infirm. I might be giving away too much.
At the moment. Oops, watch out those stairs, Harold. Okay, so let's do this then.
Okay, we ready? I'm gonna do a knock.
Hello.
Sorry, cut.
I'm being a middle-aged woman.
That was far too sexy. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll take my negligee off. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Let me put a headscarf on.
Hold on. Let me.
We're in London, aren't we?
Well.
Okay.
I've got to put on my negligee. Okay, let's try.
No, that's why I think it was strange. That's why the dog's barking at you. It knows something's wrong. Okay, knock again.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. Sorry, that's my bad. Look, we both get one dead rubber. Okay, that was my fault.
No, I was just taking a drag on my fag before.
Oh, that was really actually correct.
See.
Let's get this. We can nail this last bit.
Hello.
All right. I noticed that your dog's been barking.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, is it sort of in need of some extra walking? Because I've got some time to kill.
What makes you say that then?
I didn't have a second. Well done. Yeah, you've won.
Okay.
If that was the point of this.
Go on, I'll be nice.
No, but you're right, though. What do I say? What is my follow-up? Because the dog barks.
What is your follow-up?
Well, I don't want to accuse them of anything, right? No. It's the thing.
No,
I want to be...
Yeah, no, I get this. Okay, so she goes, what you insinuate, or whatever she does. Mm-hmm. And you say, well, it's just that, I love dogs. And I actually, because you haven't got a dog, have you?
No, my mum does. I grew up with
Great. You can actually do this.
Oh,
okay.
I see what
I couldn't help, obviously I know your dog barks, and I wondered if maybe you'd let me walk it sometime, because to be honest, it makes me quite sad when I hear your dog barking, because I used to have a Dachshund. Her name was Gretchen Wiener, and I loved her really a lot, but she got run over one day, and I never got over it really. So every time I see your Dachshund or hear it, it kind of does something to me, and it would be really good therapy and cathartic for me to be able to walk your dog. So do you think we could would you allow me to do that, please?
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
And do the big eyes, do the whole John Belushi big eyes in the Blues Brothers.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? A tear crept to my eye.
Did it? Well, I could have if I'd have kept going, I could have actually probably cried then for you.
No, I mean, I'm taking the piss, but actually, genuinely, that was pretty good. I think the thing I would have a difficulty would be the web of lies that would keep growing.
Really? Okay, then you are a nicer person than me. You win. But I just think, that might make them friendly, and then you can train the dog.
Oh,
do your Mancunian
candidate, get the whistle.
Mancunian. Oh, hey, up, aye. No, Manchester.
The Mancunian candidate.
Mancunian candidate. Although, yeah.
Oh my God.
There's a whole new show there, isn't there?
Mancunian candidate.
He's really from Eton. But they've taught him to be a mank. Oh gosh! Anyone steals that idea, Robert and I trademark.
Yes. Publish it straight away before someone nicks it.
Yeah, exactly. So you could take the dog. What's the dog's name?
Freddie.
Oh, bless them.
No, don't fall into it. No, he's a little shit.
Okay, and you could take him out and train him with a whistle, with a dog whistle that only he can hear. Right. So he'll get so used to that through the wall. When he barks, you'll just go shh, shh, which is a shut up, and he will be quiet. I'm telling you, it would take you 2-3 months at the most. Genius. You're welcome.
Hello. I noticed. All right, Rob. Yeah. Thanks so much for taking Freddie. Whoa, what's that? What's the whistle that you always seem to be puffing on? What is that?
Well, I've given up smoking, and it's just something to make me feel like I'm still smoking without actually damaging my lungs.
Oh, right. Okay. Can I have a look at it?
Yeah, sure. Oh, it's in the dishwasher. I'll find it for you another day. Next time they come round, have them by the front door, whistle on one side, vaping on the other side. Show them the vapor.
My God, you are a pro. That was seamless.
I am, honestly. Nothing phases me.
How many bodies are in the garden?
I can't possibly tell you that. Not as many as I'd like there to be. And my flowers look so much better.
Oh, goodness me.
Anyway.
Wow. Yeah. Anyway, well, now we'll ask the serious conversations.
Yes, carry on.
That's what this podcast is. The hard hitting, as you can tell. Actually, let's see if the Mancunian candidate actually exists. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Oh, someone beat us to it.
No.
There's a podcast called The Mancunian Candidates.
Oh, what?
Unbelievable.
They went back in time.
Look at this. The Mancunian Candidates, Anchor.fm. Anchor is a great place to host a podcast.
It is, actually, because I know other people that do. Is that where you host yours?
Perhaps. The Mancunian Candidates are Paul Ripley and Mike Royce, 2 award-winning, there we go, they give them out to anyone nowadays, radio broadcasters based in Manchester.
The thing is with what I understand their name, but actually they are going against the whole thing, because the idea of the Mancunian candidate is for somebody to think they are a Mancunian when actually they are, they're a really upper class person who's been made to think they're Mancunian and live in Moss Side, because they're waiting to trigger them to go and do something amazing, aren't they? That was the whole thing. Well,
I think you're right. I think basically these are 2 people from Manchester, and they've just decided that this is a good name, which it is. But they've
missed the point.
Yeah, we've actually put effort into working out the theory behind it. Yeah, they've just come up. So this reminds me of an anecdote. Do you know the film Twins?
Yes. Only their mother could tell them apart. Still cracks me up every time.
So the lore, LORE, behind Twins is that the producer, it was the shortest pitch meeting in history, and he just came in and he just said, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito are twins. And they were like, sold.
Gosh, and in LA, apparently that's quite a thing, because these pitch meetings sometimes take years.
Years, absolutely. There's a thing, what's it called? Development hell, when your project just can't get out of the gate. And apparently it was just that sentence, perhaps delivered in a slightly different way. I don't know. They might have had more of an accent than I did, but apparently it was just that. And they were like greenlit. Because
and he might have clapped his hands.
Maybe they stood up, applauded, and decided to break for the day.
Yeah, exactly. They'd had enough. But can I just go back to our Mancunian candidate
Absolutely.
upstarts? There are two of them.
Paul Ripley and Mike Royce, to remind you.
I think they'll find that they are candidates.
Oh, gee.
No, they are candidates.
No, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Nice
okay,
try.
They've got the grammar right.
Look,
Even
now,
so,
to be fair, they haven't been broadcasting since March of 2021. So, what is it, 70 years before copyright lapses? So, we just have to sit on this one.
Bide our time. But I think if we did the Mancunian candidate, we are not.
Oh, wait a second. This reminds me, there was this meme going around the internet the other day of remove one letter from a band.
Yes, I've seen those.
Terrible.
They're fabulous.
And one of my favorites that I came up with was the Backstreet Boy, which somehow is so creepy and weird and different than if there are multiple of them. But I don't know if it would square away with copyright.
Yeah, I don't know. You just have to go for it, don't you? I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
You know, you get some kind of little shop in Sheffield, say. It wasn't in Sheffield. I can't remember where it was. And they used the same colours, the same font, and they called it Arrods. And they got sued. Well, they were against the sued.
That's the thing.
Really? Do you think anybody is going to walk into that shop in Bradford or wherever it was and go, is this Harrods, the real Harrods in Knightsbridge in London? Why is it only selling beans and tomatoes? They're not, nobody's going to get them confused, are they?
Right.
So
and I bet they probably lost that lawsuit or decided to sort of settle and change their name.
No, they just had to, they were told basically, change your name and your colours, otherwise we will sue.
Right, exactly.
And so
then
the
they
poor
backed
buggers
down.
had to do that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. But do you know about the comedian Joe Lycett? Because this story makes me think you would love him.
I do love him, yes. He's from the Midlands like me, so
that's
not to
true.
love?
Do you know about this story that I'm about to reference then?
I don't. Well, I don't. Hang on, let me get my mind psychics. Like, no, I don't.
How dare you all? No, this is relevant to sort of what you were talking about, because he was doing this piece on a small brewing company, I believe out of Wales, or at least the West Country, which is basically the same thing. Ooh, come at me, Welsh. I'm part Welsh. Called Boss. Come at me. They're called Boss Brewing, and
how do you spell that?
Boss, like Are
we saying V for victory or B for Bravo?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Cut. Boss.
Boss with two S's?
With two S's.
Okay, thank you. Just clarify.
That's okay. I'm glad that you're taking notes. I assume I'll see you in court. But yeah, so they were just a small, family business out of some part of this island called Boss Brewing, making beer. And Hugo Boss sued them, claiming that it had the rights to the word boss.
Yes, I heard about this now. And
which is outrageous,
ridiculous.
And they, as you referenced in the previous story, of course, they were outgunned in every manner. So even though they were willing to take the fight, would have surely been beaten by the endless resources of Hugo Boss. But Joe Lycett found out about this because they wrote into his show, and he not only took on Hugo Boss, not only won, but legally changed his name to Hugo Boss and began tweeting as Hugo Boss.
I didn't know the full story.
By deed poll, his name is officially Hugo Boss.
Wow.
Yes. And he won. They backed down. They dropped the lawsuit. He has, I can't remember the tweets off the top of my head, but some of the tweets are absolutely hilarious. Tweeting as Hugo
I can imagine. I don't think when you've got a word like the word boss, it's like they could basically say, who's that man over there? He's my boss. Sued. Do you know what I mean? Now, the reason I asked about spelling is that my ex-husband's Dutch and his surname is Boss with three letters, B-O-S, you see? Yes, and that's why I asked, you see, because they could have had a Dutch connection. Just interested.
Right. No, it might do. I don't know. The only other
not with
thing...
two S's. No, definitely not.
The only other thing I know about Hugo Boss is that they made the uniforms for the Nazis.
They did. And, regardless of all that, those uniforms were on point.
Say what you like about the Nazis. Snappy dresses.
They look great. No, that, let's face it. I mean, the Italians, their tailoring as well was wonderful. I don't know who did that.
It's pretty special, isn't it?
Probably Valentino or something. I don't know. No, he probably wasn't alive. I don't know. But,
well, it is. What's her name? She is the lady who's now had all the plastic surgery, and it's a famous designer house. There was a movie about it recently with Al Pacino with a ridiculous wig. What is it? It's
they've all had plastic surgery. Versace woman.
Yeah.
Oh, it was her.
It's Donna, isn't it? Is it Donatella or Donna?
Oh, Donatella. Yes.
That's right. Yes, she has. She's had a remarkable amount of plastic surgery.
She has.
Good
it's
on
such
her.
a shame.
It is, isn't it? There was
Especially
another celebrity
lips.
that. Do you know who Gwen Stefani is? I assume you do.
No, I don't, because I'm 1,000 years old. Yes.
I said I assume you do, but there's no. Listen.
Yes, I do.
I'd like to walk your dog, Gwen Stefani.
TikTok. She said TikTok before TikTok, actually.
Well, the point is that's true. That's true. She's had some unfortunate plastic surgery. Have you seen?
Why?
Yeah. Oh, I'll show you. Hold on.
Show me, please. Because all these women are starting to look the same. I didn't even recognise Kylie Minogue the other day. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sorry. For anybody listening, I've just said that. Oh my goodness, in that quite hysterical fashion, because I've literally just had this mutant face looking at me, and
it's kind of quite.
Has she had? I do like the headline. Has she had plastic surgery? Let's think. She used to look okay, and
now she looks different.
She looks like the bride of Wildenstein's twin.
Come on, man.
Okay, without the eyes, but they do look the same. Kylie, it's when they have the cheek implants. That's what bugs it up.
I really agree with you there. It's the
two big lips.
The filler. Now that stuff is temporary, isn't it? It kind of.
Well, yeah, it depends. I mean, some people in the old days. There's a ghastly woman called Lisa Rinna, and she had silicone in her lips, and that of course never goes down. And that's what happened to Leslie Ash, the actress. She had silicone in her lips. And Lynn Perry, the actress, used to be in Coronation Street. She had it too. And silicone does not go. It should not go in your lip. So if you have a great big lip with silicone in, it's there forever.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't heard of Lisa
there you
Rinna,
go.
There we go. Those lips have had a lot of silicone.
Yeah. So those lips are going nowhere. Those lips will be there after she's died. They'll just be lips, and boobs probably, because obviously plastic.
Oh no.
Yeah. So you can see.
Why didn't someone have a word with her, though?
Because people don't. And also, I don't understand these plastic surgeons that keep taking money and making people more and more hideous. When my daughter and I went on a little holiday once to Marbella, the old town, and we decided we'd go to Puerto Banús because, that's where we thought we should go and have a look. Well, we hated it. It was like Blackpool, if Blackpool had been taken over by oligarchs. Or oligarchs.
Whoa, wow.
It was like every sign was in Russian. Not that I have a problem with this, but every sign was in Russian.
But a bit weird to find in a small town in Spain.
It was. Russian, Spanish, then English. The shops are all kind of high end. But my daughter and I nearly fell off an escalator because as we were going up, a woman was coming down. Now, I don't know if you've ever done this for fun, but
no.
You get a tin of Pringles. You get
wait. This sentence could end a lot of dodgy ways.
I know. And you put 2 Pringles in your mouth. It gives you
duck lips.
Like a duck bill. Well, that's what this woman's lips look like.
Oh,
literally.
No.
And in fact, we had to come back down the escalator. We followed her. We had to stalk her because we needed to see her close too.
It was a study in human folly.
It was hideous.
It's troubling, isn't it?
That? I don't get it.
I'm not sure. Maybe people on the internet. This is what my thinking is. But
they look like Bratz
existed
dolls.
before the internet. Have you heard of? I mean, this might be too controversial, so I'm going to clap. But I don't think it will be. But in case we need to cut it, do you know this person who identifies as Korean? That's a good reaction. They've had tons and tons of plastic surgery. The name is Ollie London Ollie. I'm not sure.
Oh, London Oli.
Their pronouns are Korean apparently, and they identify as Korean, but they're just a white person from the UK. I mean, I don't mean it
Wow.
in a negative way, but they've
How
decided
interesting.
to sculpt their face
But
to
they don't look Korean, do they?
No, that's the major problem, I would say, with the whole endeavor. Despite
Yeah.
tens of thousands of pounds, they still don't look Korean.
No. And I tell you what, I'm quite interested in the picture you're showing me is they're managing to show the lovely heel on her, their shoe, and the bottom of the coat at the same time with the old mirror trick. Quite like that.
That's true. And by the
Yeah.
way, their pronouns are core Ian, and that's not a joke.
What?
Yeah.
What does that even...
Well, you
Sorry.
said her, hip, etc. Core/Ian. I mean, I'm not sure you're actually in.
I'm sorry. If you're going to go to that much trouble, and no disrespect to the Ians out there, but could they not have thought of a better name? I mean, Ian.
Some disrespect to the Ians out there. How about that?
I actually quite like the name Ian, and whether it's spelt with that extra I, but it's one of those names that I always think of in a sexual content.
We're really? Hold on
Yes.
a second. Let's dig into this for a second. Ian.
Yes, because
what in a porno kind of?
No.
Ian.
Well, I don't think there are any porn stars that we know of that are called Ian, not on camera anyway. No, it's not because it's nothing wrong with the name Ian. There are certain names that should you be passionate with a lover.
Ooh,
don't sound so nice said out loud. See, so like something like Johnny, that sounds great. Gary, that'll do. But Ian. It's a bit like Pam. Same thing.
But hold on a second. It's such a good theory. But hold on, right? Let's think about this for a second. Would names with more vowel sounds be sexier because you can elongate them, right? So, like, sure, Ian, but like Ian, right?
Because you could
because of the vowels, as opposed to sort of like, I don't know, Kit.
Yeah.
Which no one's called Kit anymore, obviously. I understand.
No,
I don't know why that's my go-to.
Actually, I think you'll find there's an actor, quite a famous one, who is called Kit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't he like
about
a
him,
lord
didn't
or
you?
something? Yeah.
No, the thing is, I hear what you're saying with the Ian.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just hit my mic. How unprofessional. Ian, which is nice if Ian is doing something strokey. But if Ian is perhaps, let us say, going for it. Ian. It's not so nice.
And maybe he says his own name as he's going.
Oh,
well,
no,
he might do. He actually
Ian.
might do. What it reminds me of, poor Ian. What it reminds me of is, I don't know if you've heard of this news story, but this was last year. There were no children named Nigel in the UK. No babies.
Criminal
that whole year. So Nigel, maybe going the way of Ian, perhaps becoming extinct.
Well, they were making plans for Nigel to make it extinct. That was XTC back in the 70s.
Great tune.
But thank you. But I don't know if anyone was making plans for Ian or if Ian has ever featured in a song. And in fact, maybe Ian may be listening to this and offended by now. And they may say, actually, you'll find that this song or this character was called Ian Fleming, for example.
Yeah,
but he was probably called something for short, like Flem, wasn't he?
Well, I would hope not, but maybe.
Well, yeah, but, oh, Flemmy, darling. I don't know. But there are names, and I'm one of these people. See, one of my worst habits is rhyming.
Okay. Well, you mean in a punny way? Are you
sometimes?
I am a bit.
Like,
I'm getting susceptible to this as well.
No, it's just like I dread certain names because I know if somebody said to me, "Oh, hi, my name's Coco," the chances are I'd say, "Oh no," you know what I mean? I would.
Oh,
and
really?
And I have that fear in me. It's that kind of I'm going to say a rhyming thing which I'm going to find hysterically funny and nobody else is. And that happens to me a lot.
Does it? Do you think certain names should be illegal?
Yes. I do. I do think they should be. Some names are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially ones with hyphens in them, for goodness sake.
Wow. What if I told you that my name was hyphenated and I've been hiding it all along?
I don't need surnames. I mean, if your name was Bert.
Oh, like Bert.
I don't mean just surnames. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with a hyphenated surname. But a first name. because people don't know how to use commas correctly, let alone hyphens in a name.
That's true. And actually, I teach kids occasionally on side. No money. Don't worry about it.
I'm not from the tax office.
I just recently learned about this, that apostrophes are incredibly rare. And this is part of the problem I've always had. And now I've learned this, I think I won't have a problem anymore. But, the Brits used apostrophes, and there's like 2 other languages that use them. And
really?
all other, it's basically vanishingly rare that an apostrophe is used, especially in the way that we use it. It not only a contraction but also possession.
Yes,
it's become the most boring podcast ever. I'm very sorry. That's my fault. I did that. I introduced apostrophe chat, and I really shouldn't.
No, because the possession one is the one that gets people every time. It's the devil's one. It's the devil's. It's the devil's punctuation. It's
the devil's mark.
But you do see some terrible grammar on sides of bands and things, and it always makes me laugh. But no, names, I don't know. Call your kid anything, but think of the child. I mean,
I remember a famous court case in New Zealand where they had to ban some names. They had a list because there were a couple, they're twins rather, that were called Fish and Chips.
Oh, they were not.
They were, and they were taken to court, and it was the whole thing had to be banned and changed.
Yes, good.
It is. It does stretch it, doesn't it?
I mean, Chip, you might get away with Chip, but Fish, who the blinking hell wants to call a kid Fish?
That's true. You might. Well, I know. Unfortunately, I think it was plural as well, so it was Chips. So that would be an apostrophe nightmare. Not to go.
Yeah.
Back to that.
My goodness. I mean, I knew somebody called Fish, but that was because his surname was Fisher. That's different, right?
It was a nickname.
It was a nickname. But I think I don't know. I mean, there are some names like people try too hard.
Yeah.
They really do. And people who make up names or this is the thing that when people hear names and they don't know how they spell them. Okay, so when I was in my teens, there weren't that many Tanyas, funnily enough, and I like my name pronounced Tanya, and I do not like it pronounced Tanya. Now, I come from the Midlands originally, but my mother was an actress, so, let's leave it at that. Southern A's. Southern A's all around.
Right.
But I can
obviously
do the Northern A. And so, Tanya I am. And people who know me well that can't remember to say that, they call me Tarn, which is fine. Or T, or Miss Rich. Or Madam, I don't mind. But just don't go. Or Tanya. Anyway, I met this girl once, and I said, "Oh, hi, my name's Tanya," and she went, "So is mine." And I went, "Oh, really?" And the most common spellings are with a Y, like me, or with an I. And I said, or in Dutch, it's with a J, so Tanya, which is okay. So I said, "Okay." Cool. So, are you with an I or a Y? And she went, "With an R." What?
What?
You mean with an R?
Where?
And they literally spelt it like Narnia with a T.
What?
Because they'd heard Tanya.
No.
Yes, they'd heard somebody called Tanya. They couldn't quite work out how that could be actually written. So they thought Tanya. N-I-A. And that was how they'd spelt her name.
Oh, my goodness. You're right. It exists. Baby name, meaning, origin, and popularity.
Tanya.
This could be the future.
No, don't.
You might need to get ahead of this and change your name like Hugo Boss.
I'll change it to Joe Lycett. Then he can sue me. It's interesting. I once met a lovely girl, and her name was spelled S-I-A-N, and I went, "Oh, hello, Sian," and she went, "It's Sian."
And you were like, "No, it's not.
I think you'll find it Sian."
I think you'll find it Sian.
And then she said, "I know it is, but my dad saw the name written down and thought it looked pretty, so he called me Sian."
Oh, no.
And that's what it is. So, I'm not dissing these people, but I do wish that people would learn to spell things properly. People think it's clever to put a random letter. Like, we're going to call you, I don't know, Leighton with a J or something, something mad. And people with names that could be Christian names at the end. Like if you're called John Terry. Oh, I mean, there is a John Terry. It's not accusing him. It's not his fault. But I'm just saying, I bet people call him Terry and then John.
Yes.
Because that happens all the time, doesn't it? And I don't think that should be allowed.
I've got a friend who has 4 names and all of them are first names.
No.
Every single one. His surname, he's got 2 middle names. They're all first names and they're all
confusing.
Pretty bog standard. Without trying to out him, things like William, John, and all of the rest of it. it's just like a list where, like, if you saw it written down, you'd be like, oh, that's 4 people, but it's one man
and especially at school when they put your surname first. So I was like, I used to get called Biscuit because Rich T. No, my nickname at school wasn't Rich T, actually. Well, they did call me Biscuit, but that wasn't my nickname at school. But,
what was your nickname at school?
My nickname at school was Tonk.
Tonk?
Yep.
Mate, that's a win. I hope you're slam dunking right now. That's huge. Do
you want to know why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there were these toys called Tonka toys for real tough boys. Yeah.
I have some distant memory of this. Tonka, right?
Yeah, and so people used to think I was a pretty tough kid at school.
Sure.
And which I kind of was, and
or
probably an arsehole as well, and or definitely an arsehole as well. And rather than call me Tonka, they used to call me Tonk, and they'd say Tonk, real tough toys for real tough boys. And that's what it called.
Mate.
And then if we danced on a dance floor at all, obviously, I don't know why I said dance floor then, like I'm in the 1930s, but we danced.
Yeah, well, that's the Southern A for you. Give it a dance.
We were in the disco. If James Brown's Honky Tonk came on, which was a song, they would all point at me. Everybody. Which, in a person with less confidence than me, could have made them feel kind of slightly worried.
Right.
For me, I just owned it.
Took it in your stride.
I just took it in my stride. And I wiggle those hips just that little harder.
There's a life lesson there for sure.
There is, isn't there?
I couldn't agree more. Tonka. I'm looking at these trucks and they are formidable.
Correct.
Actually, on the nature of names, I heard this great story from a friend the other day who their friend had a girl and called her Ocean. Now, you may have thoughts about that name, as do I. But it's not the worst sin in the world.
No, it's not.
But they then had a boy a few years later and called him Land.
Oh, really? Trying too hard, I think.
Really puts that ocean in perspective, doesn't it?
It really does.
You're willing to let it go until
the future.
Hello, I'm Land.
Yeah. Hello,
Nice
I'm Ocean. I'm Land.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can really shape. I mean, I'll tell you stories about somebody I once met.
Yes, please.
Student. Now, this person, I've got to be careful here because they come from a quite famous family. So I've got to try and change their name. So let me think of something.
Okay. You can call them Land if you want.
No, because it's a name that would be amazing. So let's say their name was Future.
All right.
Okay, so think of another. I'm not giving their real name.
No, of course. Future. Is this a male identifying person or female?
No, it's a female.
Okay.
Future. Fantastic. Let's say that was their name. Their surname was Fantastic. Their first name was Future, and it was their real name. I see a class list. I'm going to the university to coach these people in voiceover. I see a class list, and I think, oh my God, Future Fantastic. What a name. So bear in mind, I've always believed in owning your name where possible. And I have a good name, so why wouldn't I? So anyway, and it's my real name, by the way, and my husband changed his name to mine because it was a much better name. Not Tanya, obviously, that would be weird. Oh, my little joke. So anyway, so I'm going through the list and who are you? And I'm thinking, come on. And, I said, so where are you? And this tiny little voice at the back said, it's me. And this tiny little girl came out like a fairy. And she said, would you mind actually calling me Olivia? I don't like my name. And I said, but is that your real name? Because if I had your name, everywhere I walked, I'd be walking to music like this. Da, 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 da. But she was so tired. She was like a little fairy. And she went, I hate it. And you give somebody a name like that. And then they're not like that. It puts a terrible burden upon them. Yeah,
it does. I often think that when I see sort of people posting about like, we've already got the name kind of decided for a kid.
I know.
And it's like, but how do you know that's their name? You haven't met this person yet.
Yeah, I know. It's when I see people called princess and queen.
Oh, goodness.
And I think you might grow up to be a queen, but it puts you under an awful lot of pressure to be Queenie, Queen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of my names, my daughter, before she was born, was going to be Basher.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I love the singer Basher, and also her middle name is Boss. So, and it would have been Basher Boss Rich. And then I thought
Pretty
everyone's going to
cool.
call her Basia or Basia, and then people, when they know how it's said, they're going to say, "Oh, you know, going to bash me up." And I thought, "Oh God, I can't be doing that." And then I thought, "Oh, Elfie, that's a pretty name, Elfie."
Mm.
But my ex-husband's Dutch, as I said, and he's 6'6". I
Oof.
knew the chance of me having an elfin-like creature was
Brilliant.
unlikely, and so we didn't call her Elfie. And as she's nearly 6 foot tall, I'm pleased.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Dutch are very, very tall people. They're
They are.
tallest
Although
in
there
the
are
world.
small ones.
Well, yeah, it takes all. Oh, to be a small Dutchman.
Well, I feel like I feel like I'm the tiniest person in the world when I go there, but I get neck ache from looking up at people. But yes, my daughter's very tall. But yeah,
Oh,
that's the thing.
goodness.
Anyway, there's loads I could say about names, but I'd only cause offence.
Yes. We probably both encounter similar problems with name. I mean, no one can spell mine, but I'm guessing.
What, Robert?
Well, you'd be surprised.
What kind of people do you know?
Is that John?
Robert. Well, it could be nowadays. Jobbert.
Jobber. Yeah. Well,
No.
yeah.
I mean, try and think of all the stupidest ways they could call, could have spelt your names just to be different.
Yeah. It's currency in the modern world in a weird way, isn't it? To have
It is. It's yeah. It's like when people like Prince when he changed his name to a symbol.
Oh, goodness
What's
me.
all that about?
Now, did he do that by deed poll? And is there anything else you can do by deed poll? I'm guessing he didn't officially change it, right?
No, but on his passport. Nobody's just going to let you have a symbol on a passport.
No way, right?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Because if they need to call your name in a public place, what are they going to do?
And what was the symbol? Symbol.
It was kind of like a squiggly. It was a bit like a treble clef, wasn't it? Hold
yeah.
on.
So what?
Let's look it up. Prince symbol, the artist formerly known as. Where is it? Why didn't that come up straight away? That's annoying.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, it's quite a cool symbol, actually. I really
Not
quite
bad.
like
You
that
see
symbol.
why he's done it now.
Yeah, actually I love it, and he's also in my own font, my own color purple.
There. Oh yeah. He was big into purple as well.
Yeah. Well, us royal people we are.
It is the royal color.
But yeah, it is a royal colour. It's a colour of power, apparently. I get told by people all the time.
The story I heard, maybe I'm incorrect, is that the reason is because it's a very rare colour in nature. So to get a dye of purple was quite rare, so therefore quite expensive. And that's
yes, in fact, the first kind of theme on that was probably, I think, about 1700s when they had puce.
Really?
Yes, I heard.
That's a word I haven't heard in a while.
I'm calling my next child Puce. It's going to be spelled Pewce. And yeah, so I love I mean, this is the thing with me is I have purple hair. People don't know me. I have purple hair, but I don't wear purple. I don't have. I wear purple lipstick and eyeshadow sometimes, but everything else is I wear black. And so people send me pictures, of purple houses, hideous. I mean, everything's purple.
Jeez.
But you'd love to live there, wouldn't you? No.
I
wouldn't. I'd hate it. And things. But royal purple and Cadbury purple, I call it, is my colour. It's always been. That's my colour in my branding and everything. So I must say, Prince had the right idea, and I do like the look of that symbol because there's something quite mystical about it.
Pretty
and
cool.
I do like a bit of old magic. Me.
Yeah, it is pretty magical.
It is a magical symbol.
It's almost a bit like a rune, isn't it?
I think it is sigil. I think it's sigil magic.
Whoa! What is that? What's that word?
Sigil magic
know
is
what this
when
is.
you make signs. You make your own sigil, your sign. So you take something and intent as anything. It can be anything, and you write it down, and then you compress it and compress it and compress it and compress it until it becomes a symbol.
Wait, I have never heard of this.
You've never heard of sigil magic?
It's spelled Sigil.
Sigil. Yep.
That seems like it must be Latin.
It's fabulous. Ooh,
so how can I use? I use this, or is this?
Sigil magic.
People?
Yeah, because people either believe it. Look, people believe that they can get a piece of crystal and it's going to heal them.
Sure.
So they can believe in sigil magic.
So how does one manifest sigil magic? Is there a practice, or is it a whole set of beliefs?
Yeah, you have to have to concentrate a lot. You have to. It's quite tied up with lots of things. There's some really good books on it. I'm not going to elaborate on this, but
presumably your neighbour is reporting you to the police because of
no, I'd have to chalk a sigil outside her house, and I just can't be bothered to do that. I haven't got the time. I haven't got the time to write sigils because it does take a lot of time and effort and meditation and all kinds of things. It's a big, it's a thing, but people use it a lot.
I'm going to look into that. I want my own sigil.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, because people get, if you make a sigil and you tattoo it on yourself, you better make sure, if you believe in it, that it's actually what you want, because, remember, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So it has to be. It's quite clever. There is a really good book about sigil magic, which I have somewhere, and I can't remember its by. It's not a very thick book, but it explains everything, how to make a sigil and how to do it.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's clever stuff.
I'm 100% looking into this.
So Prince was definitely. I think
you're right. He made his own sigil. That's where that came from.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Have you ever seen the video where he's playing guitar with I think it's like George Harrison and Tom Petty and I don't know, like sort of rock and roll Hall of Famers. He comes on stage. It's an amazing video. He comes on stage. They give him a guitar. He starts playing this incredible solo. There's, so talented and gifted. Yeah. And he just kind of throws the guitar into the air and it disappears. It never comes down. It's absolutely remarkable. He literally, the laws of physics did not apply to Prince.
Somebody was waiting to catch that, Robert.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Don't piss on my chips. Don't piss on my fish and chips.
I think you'll find they're called Dan and John now. Don't piss on Dan and John.
Oh man.
Well, so you've learned something new today.
I've learned a few things. Absolutely.
So is there anything else you want to talk to me? Because this is fun. We could do this every week as far as I'm concerned.
I know, right? The best.
Hey, we're not famous, but, we could, we've got things to say. Like lots of people might be wondering, lots of the questions that we're addressing today, other people might have those concerns and think, finally, people are talking openly about these things.
That's right. This is the stuff that matters, Dachshunds, Mancunian candidates, plastic surgery, use.
Yes, Puce.
It's been a very enlightening time, and you've been very generous with your time. Thank you.
I love it, because most of the time, I'm sitting either talking to myself or to a student, I know people. People say, Tanya, the woman who never stops working, and that is true. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, I really love doing what I've done. I do, rather. But two, because you're a long time dead, you can't bank on reincarnation, although I hope we can. I just, you've got to get it when you can, because it could all go tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't know what's round the corner ever. And I just live, because of being an ill person most of my life, believe it or not, I try and get every inch of juice out of the day. And that's why sometimes my batteries run out of juice. I go and have a lie down, and then I bounce back into the studio and work till like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Like, I'm very on Spanish time for me. It works much better for me than UK time. Why not? Why not, Tanya? Live a little.
Live a little, eh?
Live a little.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, thank you for setting aside some time to talk with me in a very busy week. You've been an absolutely stellar guest. I'd love to have you back anytime that you'd like to come back.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Brilliant.
And I will talk about anything, as I told you. I can, and please let me know how you get on with the Dachshund.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got my plans.
You've got the plan now.
Yep, I might
turn that dog into your slave.
I'll be in prison this time next week. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
Tanya.
you. And can you just tell people, if they like the sound of me or don't, if they'd like to follow me on Instagram, that would be really nice.
Yeah, what's your handle?
Tanya Rich VO. That's V for victory and O for off.
And of course, I will put that in the links for the episode.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, Tanya.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
I can't wait to hear it. Take care. Bye.
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 Thanks for listening to the show. If you've enjoyed it, please give us 5 stars and consider becoming a subscriber and maybe even supporting us on Patreon. Really, really, really helps me continue making this show. If you haven't enjoyed it, then you can fuck off. Many, many thanks to Nils Hennis Steer for the amazing music and to Dave Fox for the cool artwork. Please keep coming back every week for more Bliss of the Abyss.
Message 1.